Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Mr. Daniel Yu, global strategist at Yuanta Securities. Mr. Yu, thank you as always for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Well, stocks in New York were up overnight with the emergency approval of a new coronavirus treatment and growing hopes for a vaccine. Both the S&P and the Nasdaq at new highs. What's the story in the global markets today?
Yes, as you said, U.S. market continues to its rise. If you look at Dow Jones, it was up 1.4%. S&P 500 was up 1%. Nasdaq a little bit lagged, but nevertheless, it went up by about 0.6%. Wall Street continues to show very strong move because of these news about the COVID-19 treatments and vaccines news. On Sunday, the U.S. FDA issued an emergency use authorization of convalescent plasma for hospitalized COVID patients, which is estimated to cut the mortality rate by 35%, which is quite a significant amount. The Trump administration also considering the fast-tracking of an experimental vaccine developed in UK for use in the United States. I think this is all linked into the November election that the Trump administration is pushing for the coming out with some kind of the vaccine or the treatments for the COVID-19. If this kind of sentiment continues, we think that the economic recovery of U.S. Could be on the right track, and therefore the equity market could continue to show rising trend at least till the election comes through in November.
Well, the main indexes in Korea were up by more than 1% today as well. Were investors taking their cue from Wall Street, or what was driving the trade here in Seoul?
Yes, Korea has shown a very strong movement today. Kospi was up 1.58%. Nasdaq was up another 2.52%. This is a very strong move after quite sizable rise yesterday. The Korea's composite consumer sentiment index showed that it increased to 88.2 in August from 84.2 in the previous month. Clearly, the sentiment seems to be improving despite there's a concern about the COVID-19 patient rising quite rapidly. We are seeing the numbers amounting to as high as 300 per day, but has fallen down to about 260 level. Nevertheless, we didn't see the current condition to worsen that badly, and therefore people are expecting there could be some kind of recovery in terms of the economic conditions. More so, we need to look at the export side. Even though domestic consumption might be negatively affected due to the COVID-19, we think that the export numbers could improve as the UK, US, as well as China do show somewhat of improvement in terms of economic conditions. So if a continuation of manufacturing numbers are going to be better and the economic numbers improving in the third quarter, if that trend continues to the fourth quarter, we think that the Korea's overall Kospi as well as Nasdaq could show a further rise from the current level.
Now, Mr. Yu, oil prices are up a bit because of the two hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico forcing a shutdown in U.S. production. Tell us about that and your outlook for oil in general.
Yes, if you look at the oil prices on Tuesday, investor wait output cuts in the U.S. Gulf Coast from the tropical storms Marco and Laura against the doubts over the COVID-19 vaccine. So continue to show that people are quite positive about the overall condition for oil prices at current point in time. The current level is right now around $42.56 per barrel. We think that the range bound could happen anywhere between $40 to $50 based on the demand and supply numbers. And also, we do know that there's a continuation of huge liquidity condition happening in a global scale. But one side of that is that, though, if you look at the currency, dollar index seems to be stabilizing at about 93. But nevertheless, the 93 is still quite a reasonable dollar rate, and that means is that continuation of liquidity condition also would put some positive implication to the oil price. It's not going to be just for the oil price, but we think that this will have some positive implication for gold price as well. So overall trend of the commodity side, inflation numbers coming up a bit and liquidity condition being very strong, we think the price will be showing somewhat a rising trend in the future.
All right, we'll be watching. Thanks so much for joining us today, Ms. Ju. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.